In this video, we will discuss Blazor WebAssembly state management with CascadingValue component. There are multiple ways to share state across a Blazor WebAssembly app. In this video, we will discuss state management by using the CascadingValue component in Blazor apps. For this, first we will create a page navigation component and consume it in a component which displays many records, namely by using a display comments component or page. Second step, we implement state management by using the CascadingValue component in the display comments page above. Third step, click pagination links and display some records on it. Then navigate away the display comments page and visit other pages in the app. Finally, we come back and navigate to the display comments page again. At that time, the active page link that was active when we navigate away should be unchanged and still be active, meaning the pagination link state is preserved even we have visited other pages and come back again. Now let's start it. This is a Blazor WebAssembly project we just created. First, let's create the pagination component. Let's implement a pagination, which is just display it in the Bootstrap homepage. First, let's look at the Bootstrap homepage. This is the pagination page in Bootstrap. This is the pagination template we are going to implement in this tutorial. First, let's see this template in detail. If we see this template carefully, we have several items there. Namely, we have text, for example, previous, 1, 2, 3, or next. Then we have page index. For example, this is the page index 1, page index 2, page index 3. And now this page index 2 is active. If we point 3 at that time, this next is disabled. Therefore, we have to have a parameter enabled or disabled. In summary, in this page item, in this single page item, we have 4 elements: text, page index, enabled, and active. In the next step, we are going to create an object, namely a page item object. First, let's create a modules folder. Let's create a page item class. We have 4 properties in this page item. We just saw that we have text, page index, enabled, and active. Therefore, okay, save this. Now let's create a constructor. Let's save this. Now we have created our page item class. Inside this class, we have text, we have page index, enabled, and active. And then we have a constructor. Next step, let's create a pagination component. In general, components resides inside the pages folder. Therefore, in order to save time, I have prepared the HTML and the C# code portions of this component. Therefore, first I will copy this code and paste it here. Then I will explain the code line by line. This is the prepared code for this pagination component. Therefore, first I will copy this. Copy. First I will clear this. paste it here. Save this. Okay, we have some error here. Let's see this object. Okay, we have some error here. Save this. Now let's explain this code. We just created this page item. In the page item class we have text, page index, enabled, active, and we have a constructor here. This constructor accepts page index, enabled, and text. Okay, now let's see. First, let's explain the C# code portion. First, we need to create a page link. All page links reside inside a list. Therefore, we have created a page items list because in the pagination component we have several, namely we have multiple page links. Therefore, we need a list here. Then we have page index. From outside the component, we are passing page index. Therefore, we need this page index parameter. This is a parameter. Then we need total pages because we are going to display multiple records. Therefore, we need total page parameter. This is a parameter. Then we need a radius. This is the number of page links displayed in the pagination component. Then we have an event callback. When we select the page link, unselected page will be called. Then we have unset parameter because we are going to set parameter outside from this component. Inside this unparameter set, we are creating the content of the pagination component. This is the content of the pagination component. Inside the pagination component, first we need to create a previous link. If the page index is larger than 1, at that time we have previous. The page index should be larger than 1. Actually, previous page index is current page index minus 1. Then create the page item. This is the constructor of the page item. First we have page index, then we have enabled, and then we have text. Therefore, this is the previous page index. This is a boolean value, has previous page, yes, and then we have the text. Now we have created the previous page. Then we create other elements. If the radius is larger than total page, at that time radius is equal to total page minus 1. Then we use the for loop, simple for loop, loops through the total page, create each page links. For example, if this index should be between page index minus radius, and it should be less than page index plus radius, then we are going to create page items. Page item index, this is boolean, active, enabled, and this is the text. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we give the active. If we click, it will be clickable. Therefore, each page item should be active. Then we create the next page or next page link. Has next page. If the current page index less than total pages, at that time we have next page. Therefore, this is the next page item, boolean. Then we have next page index. Next page index is current page index and plus 1. Then we are going to create the page item by using the next page index, and has next page boolean value, and this is the text of next. Now we have created the previous page link. We have created all other page links. Then finally we have created the next page link. Okay, now we have created the pages. After that, when we select the page link, it should be display or selected a page. Namely, we are going to select a page index. At that time, we are going to display some data. Therefore, we need this event callback. This event callback receives page item. If the page index equal to the current page index, return. If the page item is not enabled, at that time also we return. This is the conditions. Because this page item is equal to page item is not changed, we will return. Then if the page item is disabled, namely it is not enabled, and at that time we also return. After that, this is the current page index, and this is the received page index. Then unselected callback, and we are invoking async page index. Namely, we are selecting that page index. In the HTML code portion, we are creating the UI portion of the page links. Actually, this is the code same as the pagination template in the Bootstrap homepage. We are loop through page items and then creating each page links here. First, each links is active, and then we have here CSS. Page links is active, we active it, and if page links is enabled, and sometimes it's not active, and sometimes it's enabled, and sometimes it's not enabled. Therefore, we added this CSS. Then we have a page text here in the page links, namely the label of the page link. Then we have onClick event. If we click that page link, this select current page event callback will be called, and then it will be invoke this unselected page event callback. Now we have completed the pagination component. In the next step, let's create a display comments component. Inside that component, we are going to consume this pagination component. Actually, there is a JSON placeholder test API. Inside this test API, there are multiple records. In this tutorial, let's use this comments records. There are 500 comments. Let's see this. This is an array. Inside this array, there are multiple comments. Namely, there are 500 comments. This is a record, and this is a JSON object. Inside this object, we have post ID, ID, name, email, and the comment body. Therefore, we need a class to represent an object. First, let's create a comment object. We just saw that in the JSON placeholder API's comment array, inside that object, we have several elements. Namely, we have post ID, ID, name, email, and body. Therefore, we are creating this class. Save this. In the next step, let's create the display comments component. In order to save time, I have prepared the HTML and the C# code portions of this display comments component. Therefore, first I will copy that code and then paste it here. After that, I will explain the code line by line. This is the code I have prepared. I just copy it. Paste it here. Save this. Now, let's explain the code line by line. First, let's explain the C# code portion. First, we have created a comment class. Namely, this comment object represents a single object inside the comments array in the JSON placeholder API. Then we created a comments array here, all comments array, because we are going to get all comments, and then later we will display it in the pagination component. Then we created second array. Each time we click a pagination link, and this will be displayed. First, we have a page index. Then we have items per page, for example, 25, and then we have initialized total pages, for example, 1. We have an initialized async. Inside an initialized async, we are getting all comments by using the HTTP client. Because we have HTTP client here, we have injected this service. Then by using this HTTP client, we are getting all comments by using HTTP client. This is the URL of the comments. If this is not null, at that time we are getting the total pages, because we have the count of this all comments, and we have, for example, we have 25 items per page. Therefore, this is the total pages, namely number of objectives, and then we divide it by the items per page. We are getting total pages. Then after we get the total page, skip 0, and we are getting the comments. This is the initialize the comment which will be displayed when the page loaded first time. Then after we select a page link, at that time we will display comments. For example, this is the page index, the current page index. Using this page index and -1 multiplying items per page, this is the skip count. For example, if we are clicking page link 2, at that time 2 minus 1 is 1. Each page has 25 items. Therefore, this is a skip item. From all comments, we are skipping this much and then taking items 25. This is the comments array when we click a single page link in the pagination component. Let's see the HTML code portion. Inside HTML code portion, we have a HTML table, simple HTML table, because we have ID, we have name, we have email, and body. Therefore, this is the table header, and this is the corresponding rows, namely the actual data. Therefore, we have a comments array, and we loop through using the for each and creating each row here. This is one row, and we are looping through and creating all rows here. In the table footer portion, we are consuming the pagination component we just created. For example, in the pagination component, we have total pages, and this is the total pages. Then we have page index. This is the current page index, and we have radius 3. This means at first time, namely previous 1, 2, 3, and the next. Total 5 page links. Previous 1, 2, 3, and next. Therefore, radius is 3. Then we have unselected page. This is the method we have here. Namely, each time click the page link, at that time this method will be called, and inside this method we are getting comments based on the selected page link. Now the component is completed. Before run this, let's call this component in the side navigation bar of this application. We have a side navigation bar here. Okay, I just copy this. This is the router template. I just copy this, paste it here, and then okay, save this. Now we have completed our components. Namely, first we have created the pagination component. Then we have created display comments component, and inside this display comments component, we have implemented the pagination component and displaying comments page by page. In the next step, we are going to implement state management, the main goal of this tutorial. First, let's run this application and see. Let's run this application by using .NET Watch Run. Now it's running. Therefore, let's see. Now this application is running, for example. Okay, application running. And we have display comments here. If I click this menu, it will be show up some comments here. For example, okay. Now it works. Our pagination component also works. Okay, this is the second page, because we are going to display 25 elements in a page. Third page, 25, 100, okay. Now the pagination component working great. Okay, let's put a title here. Now the title is not visible, therefore we need to fix this. Actually here we need to background. Okay, now save this. Okay, now comments pagination test. Now let's change the page size, namely items per page. Let's say 5, and save this. It will be loaded automatically because we are using .NET Watch Run. Okay, each page we have 5 records, for example. Okay, it works great. If we come here, next, now this is disabled. Okay, now the pagination component working great. Now we are in the page 10, displaying record 50. If I navigate away this page and visit other pages and come again at that time, page 10 is not active again. It is pointing page 1 because we didn't implement state management in this page yet. Let's do that. If I visit this counter, for example, I count this, and if I go to the home page and if I go to fetch data and then come again this display comments, at that time it will be show up the first page, namely first page is active, pointing the first page link. Let's see. Meaning in this application there is no state management yet. Therefore we need to implement state management. Namely, we are going to implement state management by using CascadingValue. Now let's implement it. For that, first we need to create a component, namely page index state provider. In the shared folder, let's create a component, page index state provider. Inside this component, we are going to use CascadingValue component. This. Now, let's create the C# code portion. Because we are going to preserve or we are going to keep the state of the page index. Therefore, okay, now we have child content here. We just call it here. That's it. Save this. Now we have created page index state provider. Namely, by using this page index state provider component, we are going to keep the state of the page index across the application. In order to share this page index value across the application, first we need to call this component inside the main layout component. First we have main layout component, just here we just call it. Here we just call this component, namely page index state provider component. Save this. That's it. We just wrapped this body portion by using the page index state provider component, meaning page index value shared across the application because we used this page index state provider inside the main layout. Therefore, this page state provider provides the state for all this body element. Save this. Let's come here in the display component. We just call that and share the page index across the application. First, in the C# code portion, we just call here cascading parameter, then page index provider, we just call it state. Okay, now we have state. Actually, this state is the page index state provider component. Inside this component, as we see that, we have page index. Therefore, we don't need this page index now. Comment this. Instead of this page index, we are going to use this state. Namely, we are going to use the page index inside this state object. Okay, first, inside on initialize async, initialize this comments which will be displayed when the page loads first time. When the page loads first time, we are skipping 0, namely we are displaying the first page. Therefore, we are skipping 0 and taking 5 items each time. Here, when we load first time, we are displaying the first 5 items because we are skipping 0. However, if we going to keep the state, namely the page link state when we navigate away, therefore we need to create a skip amount here. We are going to create a skip count here. It should be items per page multiplied by state page index, the current page index, and -1. This is the skip count when we navigate away that page. Therefore, instead of 0, we call this skip count. Okay. This is the first step. In the second step, because now we don't have this page index variable, therefore, instead of this, we are going to use state page index. Okay. Instead of this, we are also use the state page index. Okay, that's it. Save this. Okay, now another place. Here also we use state dot page index. Save all. Now it should be share the page index across application. Okay, before run this, I will explain what I have done until now. First, we have created a page index state provider component. Inside this component, we have created child content, because this child content is rendered, because we use rendered type, because this will be a portion of the consumed component. Therefore, we use it child content. Then we have page index. We are going to share this page index across application. Therefore, inside the main layout, we just wrap this body portion inside this page index state provider. That's it. Now we are able to keep this page index value across application. First, we use this cascading parameter, and then we declare this state. Actually, this state is the page index state provider component. Inside the component, we just saw that we have page index. Therefore, we don't need this page index anymore. I just commented it. Now, if we run this application, the state of the page index should be preserved in the display comments page. Okay, let's see that. Save this. Okay, refresh this in case. Now let's see. And let's see display comments. Okay, it displays, but we have an issue here because we don't have any active page here. Therefore, we need to fix this. Okay, first let's see this. Inside this component, we just commented this. Actually, this is initial value is 1. Therefore, inside this page index state provider, we have page index here. This should be 1. Therefore, 1. Okay, save this. Now it should be fixed. Okay, now, okay, let's refresh this. Okay, it's fixed. Okay, I navigate again this. Okay, come again. It's 1. Okay, now let's check this. First, we navigate some page. Now I am in the page 7. Namely, page link 7 is active now. If I navigate again and come again this page and go to other pages and come again, it should be 7. Okay, home. Here, for example, I navigated some other pages, and now if I come again, it should be displays the content of the page 7. Okay, let's click this. Okay, it's still 7. Okay, now try again. Let's do that. I am in the page 20, record 100, for example. Now I navigate again, and the come again, it should be 20. Now come again, it should be page 20, and it displays 100. Okay, 100, page 20. It works. Let's summarize this. In this tutorial, we have implemented state management by using CascadingValue component. First, we have created a pagination component. Then we have created the display comments component. Inside this display comments component, we have implemented this pagination component. And then display recorders by using this pagination component. After that, in order to preserve the state of the pagination component, we have implemented page management by using CascadingValue. Thank you for your watching. Please subscribe.